Time to rock, ladies and gentlemen. No, you aren't seeing things. Your eyes are correct. There are four hosts on this show this evening. You're obviously very happy, I'm sure, to see Brad here, but it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to introduce up here with me on the top level Andy, also known as Lake District Ambient Guitars. Good to see you, brother.
Good morning, gents, and everyone in the chat.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to see you. And down below, as usual, carrying the show on their shoulders is the rock professor and Brad. Good to see the two rat bags here doing the best things that they can do.
Well, we're doing our best. It's big shoes to fill. You up, Andrew. Look.
Oh. No, good to see you guys. Good to see the rock professor. Good to see Brad, and good to see Andy, guys. So, if you want to direct anything to Lake District, just throw a message to him. He's the reason why we are discussing this record. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the introduction. But I just want to do a special, quick little shout out to Warren, who is hopefully going to be watching the show. I know that he has a particular fondness for Peter Frampton as well. So, bro, we want to hear from you. Send us a message. We're always praying for you and keeping you in our thoughts, brother. I've finished my shout out. Brad, I think you've got you haven't done a couple of shout outs for a while, have you?
Me? All right. I'll shout out to our co-host Hoss. Had an amazing show the other night at the Corner Hotel. I was there. I got through the night. I was pretty tired the next day, but no, it was fantastic. And I have to commend every single person that performed that night. They all did such an amazing job. Our Hoss is just sensational. He's amazing. To see it live, I'm sure it's just as exciting to see the footage floating around on YouTube and whatnot, but to see it live and be there the excitement was it was bouncing off the walls. It was just amazing. Everyone just did such an amazing job. Everyone did such an amazing job. So big shouts out to Hoss, the boys from Fair Warning, Nina, all the crew there that basically do the show. It's just sensational.
You did a wonderful job. Bro. Sending some pics through and some footage through you and John ZD351-50. We're over 1,000 views on that show.
Well, I was just about to say the next shout out was going to be to John ZD351 for all of his hard work and picking up the slack for my inability to do what he did. So, John, you're a bloody legend, mate, and we love you on the channel here. And you're a down to earth guy. Everything that you say is funny or meaningful or both. He's a heartfelt guy, and you're an amazing fella, buddy. So we're extremely grateful to have you part of the family, mate. So he did such an amazing job that night, guys. And then when it came time for the music to start, so where's John? I was looking from side of stage because I had where the sound desk was on the side there for the front of house. I was sitting behind there, and I look in, and sure enough, John waited, got himself a frontline spot right at the front. I sent him a message saying, "Are you all right over there?" He goes, "I've camped here all night. I'm staying here." So no, but he obviously connected with you guys. on the 2:00 or when the corner opened, and he was there from the very get-go all the way through to the end of the night. So thank you, John. Thank you.
Awesome. And good to see you too, bro. Thank you for jumping on and hanging out with us. We were teasing Brad at the start in the green room, ladies and gentlemen, that he had to do his own shout out. You know, and being the modest man that he is, he's not going to do it. So I'm going to do it, and I know the Rock Professor will do a bit of a shout out. It's always a pleasure, bro. We know that you're recuperating, and the fact that you're hanging out with us, and especially with Andy as well. To talk about this album's always a pleasure. Good to see you making progress, bro.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, doing okay. You know, having my days, but doing better than, you know. I keep reminding myself, look, Friday just gone. I'd just come out of hospital 3 weeks at that point, so still early days. You know, still a long way to go, but early days. But
We've got Ellen in the chat. Sorry to interrupt, bro. We've got Ellen in the chat. I know that the Rock Professor is going to do a shout out to you guys all, but especially nice to see Ellen, because a lot of people have been talking about Ellen, been asking where she is. So yeah. Do you want to do a shout out, Rock Professor, before we forget?
Yeah, and also shout out to Sonia as well. I've not seen Sonia in a chat for a while.
Is she in
the? Hope she's all right. No, she's not in the chat. But it occurred to me the other day. I thought, I've not seen her in the chat. I hope she's all right. So shout out to Sonia. I hope you're all right, Sonia. And
I do tag her. With our shows on Messenger. So
she may be lurking. I don't know, but I thought I'd give her a shout out anyway.
Thank you.
That's right. So we've got Nelson. Good morning, Nelson. Of course, first in. Some bloke called Simon Williams. Watch him. And Teresa. Good morning, Teresa from Brazil. Gret Zeppelin. Arvin, of course, Arvin. Good morning, Arvin. Hope you're good. Mark Tanner. Hi, Mark. Been enjoying his collaboration with the great Vanzini. He did a great version of Leonard Cohen's song, 1,000 Kisses Deep, which is really good. Check that out if you haven't already, because that's really good. We've got Ellen, of course. Good morning, Ellen. Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a week or two. So I hope you're good. We've got Holly Lewis as well. Morning, Holly. From Nashville, I think. Hopefully I've got that right. Janice as well. Good morning, Janice. Hope you're good. Jazz Thunder 50. Jim. Good morning, Jim. From the from across the border. See, we've got a UK contingent. Now we've got UK on one side, and Antipodeans on the other side. It's looking balanced at last. Helene O'Hara, good morning, Helene. And you were at the corner hotel as well, wasn't she? She was at the corner hotel. So I just saw a picture of her. That's cool. Quentin James, good morning, Quentin. The manager, Johnny Heartbreaker. Morning, Johnny. So hopefully I've got Nerdtailing, of course. Morning, Caleb. Hope you're good. Hope you enjoyed your casino gigs last weekend. They look fantastic. Well done for those. And he says, my best to Brad, just hearing about his situation. So thanks,
Caleb. Yeah, thanks, Caleb.
Really cool. Really cool. So that's everyone for the moment. I shall keep an eye, and if anyone turns up, I'll give them a shout out.
Awesome. Caleb, if you're in here, I had a show earlier today with a young guy from Texas, Greg, and we mentioned you. You're responsible for him getting a head rush. He spoke to you about the head rush MX5, so we did a bit of a shout out to you for that. So we connected there, and obviously I'm wearing a Nerdtailing t-shirt. So gosh, and Brad's getting shout out. So my gosh, wow. Okay, guys. So the album that we're going to talk about, obviously, is it's a great album. As usual, guys, if you are familiar with what we do, we like to talk about our personal experiences with this album, how we came across it, some observations that we've picked up over time. We always find that interesting, and we have different perspectives. So Andy is our guest. He picked the album. We're doing it because it's his request. So, Andy, do you want to tell us your experiences with this album, how you came across it, and then the Rock Professor will jump in with his opinion?
Yeah, certainly. So it was the first two reasons. It was the first album that my dad bought me, and
marvelous.
I really kind of started playing the guitar probably around about 1984. Didn't know who Peter Frampton was, and I got the album. I think it was a Christmas present, and it was on a CD. It wasn't a vinyl, and it took me 2 days to listen to it. I had this CD there, and I put it on. And to be honest, I think I listened to it about 4 or 5 times. And even this week, I've been listening to it again, and it still brings back memories, loads and loads of good memories when I first started playing an instrument. And the second one was a music teacher told me about it as well. And she pushed me towards Peter Frampton, but that was after I got the CD. But she introduced me to other players like Blackmore and Jimmy Page and all the old classic guitarists. And for me, I mean, even now, it's just a good album with loads and loads of really nice music on, And so for me, it's probably one of my. I mentioned Andrew earlier about guitars and stuff, but if I was going to grab anything from the house, and if there was a flood of fire or Godzilla was going to attack or anything like that, it'd probably be this album, definitely.
That's cool. I'd send my children back in the burning house to get other stuff of mine. They've already got their instructions. It's the advantage of having 3 children. You see, you can send them back for others to get them to carry all your guitars
3 times.
3 times, yeah.
Get back in there and get the Strat, for God's sake.
Rock Professor. You are the Rock Professor because you have had the honour of being in a lot of these lines, waiting for these records when they dropped. Was this an album that you queued up for?
Well, I didn't queue up for it, but mainly because I didn't have to. But I bought it when it came out. Absolutely, it was it was a big thing when it came out, and it had a hit single, Show Me the Way, and that was all over the radio being played, and so it was the album to get in '76, or one of them for sure, and clearly pre-punk and all of that. So yeah, it was it was a really big album, and you've got to, Andy, you'll know this, that British rock radio is a bit sort of few and far between, isn't it?
Yes,
there's not many stations, but Frampton kind of crossed over with this, and I heard the other bits of the album on like Saturday afternoon. There were some more rock shows that would play more stuff. So I mean, it's one of the soundtracks of '76, and I bought it new, absolutely, when it came out.
For '76 as well, Simon. And you think of all the albums that came out in '76, like Dark Side of the Moon. There's a lot of big albums that came out in 1976.
That's 72, Andy.
72. But what a year for albums.
Yeah. Well, they all have their classics, don't they? Every year, especially then.
Brad, what about you, brother?
This album I discovered. Well, to be honest with you, Peter Frampton kind of went over my head for many years. I never gave it any attention. I never really thought it to. And then I was going through a guitar magazine at some point, and back in the early 2000s, I think it was. And it was in a month. There was an article based on classic albums that you have to have heard. Now, the majority of the albums, they were, Van Halen, obviously, stuff, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, and I've never really looked at this Peter Frampton guy, so I went and bought this album on CD, and instantly I thought I could hear so many different influences that I'm into in this record. So obviously, I got into it straight away. It was one of those albums, and I have to admit, I haven't listened to it for a long time. It's been couple of years at least, at a minimum, but very refreshing to put on again. because it's like one of those albums that you put on and nearly every song you can just listen to, and they're never a skip. So it's a great record. There's some great music on it, great songs, and Peter Frampton cements himself as a pretty amazing guitar player on a lot of these songs. So obviously it's something that when I first got this record, I thought to myself, it sounds like the Eagles. It sounds like some of it sounds like George Harrison's solo career. Some of it sounds like I could hear all these things in it. Bit of Clapton at times, bit of all different things, but not like he was trying to do that. It was just, and Joe Walsh solo, I could hear all of that stuff in there as well. So immediately it clicked with me, and I'm really glad you picked this album, Andy, to be honest with you, because we get so bombarded with all these other records we've got to listen to all the time and rank the tracks. We've got to keep on top of this, and it's all homework we do. So it's been great to sit and listen to this record again.
Yeah, I agree with you. I haven't listened to this album for years, bro. And, this was a staple when I was a young guy with a circle of my close friends, listening to this album, Rumours by Fleetwood Mac, when we were drinking and socialising. It was just one of those albums that we constantly listened to. But this album for me, though, going back, to when I was about, I'm going to give my age away, so I'm certainly not 29 or 39. Okay. All right. If you guys actually thought that I was, if anybody actually did think that.
I definitely did.
Okay. So I remember that Peter Frampton visually, because I went to my nana's place and Auntie Sandra had this big poster of Peter Frampton on her wall. This big, face and this curly hair. And I remember and he had a guitar. And so back then I was looking, Brad and Rock Professor and Andy at the guitar, but this face and this name Peter Frampton meant something. And then when I started hearing, some of the songs, and then when we had a Christmas dinner at my nana's place later on that year, my uncle Eddie and Auntie Sandra and a couple of other relatives who were, good guitar players and stuff like that were singing Show Me the Way. And so that was my first appreciation of this album through hearing it being sung by other people. And then when I was about 12 or 13, that magic era, when you start getting into albums, then that's when I finally heard it through friends, guys. And it was back then, no classic radio. No, so now you hear Show Me the Way often on classic radio here, but back then you didn't hear it. I'm glad that Brad mentioned something about all these connections, because we can talk about that a little bit more when we go through the tracks. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's a great example of how he's just borrowing all these elements and it just comes through in this thing that's just Peter Frampton's. I've loved listening to this album over the week, but more than that though, guys, I spent probably 4 or 5 hours over the last couple of evenings just watching video footage on YouTube, because I hadn't watched a lot of Peter Frampton stuff. I'll be honest about that. I haven't seen, and I don't know anything about Peter Frampton, so I'm looking forward to these couple of shows, hanging out with you guys to learn a little bit more. But I'm just blown away by how musical this guy was when you actually see him in concert, and the way that he interacts, Brad, with his audience. It's just it's mind blowing. Loved it. It's been a wonderful week, and I've got the honour and privilege of just giving my ranks. So everyone else is going to fill you guys in, but I'm looking forward to it. Whew. Thank you.
We all know, of course, that Peter Frampton was at school with David Bowie in the same year as David Bowie. That Peter Frampton's father was the art teacher who taught them at that school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everyone knows that. Now, that's why I'm the rock professor. lots of tremendously useless and up-to-date facts in my head.
It's on Wikipedia. It's on Wikipedia too. Come on.
Yeah, they got it from me.
So what we're going to do, guys? I know Helen O'Hara has a particular fondness for this album too, because she's mentioned it in a couple of messages. G. Buchoff is saying the same thing, that it's a fantastic album. Guys, let us know what you think of this album as we go through and rank the tracks. So Andy, because he's picked it, is going to go first with his rankings, followed by the Rock Professor and Brad, and I'm going to come in on the outside and sneak through and give my scores. But let us know what you guys think of these tracks on this album.
So the first track is Introduction, and the song's called Something's Happening. And for me, when I first heard this, I thought his voice was brilliant, but a great introduction into what the rest of the album's going to be like. And I was hooked when I heard this straight away. And rhythmically, he's a fantastic guitarist, and even listening to the lead break that he done on this was absolutely brilliant. And for me, that's probably, I think, the difficult thing when you have a live album or when you go and see a live band. That's when you see the artists at the utmost 100% if you can. And for me, when I first heard this album, this first song, that was it for me. That was definitely never a skip for me, because it's such a good, strong song for a first one on an album, but also in a concert. Because generally, when you pick a set, you have to pick the best, not the best one, obviously, but something close. You're going to keep people listening. And I thought this was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, following to the second song, but this was great. This was really, really good. And listening to it this week, she's been brilliant. She's bringing so many memories back from 1984 for me.
That's cool. Yes. What are you going to give it out of 10, Andy? What are you giving
out of 10? I'll
10?
Probably, to be honest, I'll probably give it an 8. I think give it an 8. Yeah.
Right, okay.
It is difficult. Everyone's going to have different sort of, but I'd say give it an 8 actually.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah. Rock Professor.
Well, yes. I mean, I think that one of the interesting things about this album is that it's kind of, he had 4 albums out previously to this, and they kind of had a building audience, but he hadn't really hit big. And basically, these shows, this album is almost a kind of like greatest hits. It's the best tracks from his previous 4 albums done live, as a kind of showcase thing, basically. And I think that that Something's Happening is clearly the opening song, because it's about something happening, something kicking off and about something doing it. And great introduction. If ever there was a musician who was the honorary member of San Francisco Society, Mr. Peter Frampton. Very kind of gentlemanly sort of a thing, which I think suits him nicely. The thing that struck me, I think, first of all, is that I listened to it on my stereo, and it's like the guitar sound is huge. He's not doing a wet dry, but it almost is, and it's enormous. The sound is incredible. I mean, it's pretty much that Gibson into Marshalls. That's what it is. He's got a Leslie on one side there and stuff, but pretty much, and not so different really from of course Humble Pie, and we've done Humble Pie live at the Fillmore. Not so different really, but quite a different sound. But really, that kind of, when he hits those chords coming in, you think, wow, listen to that. And I think that this is 1976, not 1986. It's not. He's not using huge amounts of effects. We've said a lot of times before. We've not. And so it is about playing with the guitar and about doing it with the guitar. Winding off the volume a bit, and the way that the 3 pickup Les Paul is wired is quite interesting. We'll get into that. I'll keep it for a bit, but so I think that's the thing that strikes me. It's a great opening song. It says something's happening, which is a great thing to start any gig with, to say it. As I say, that guitar sound, is just really big. And I think that, as we go on, the band are also really, really good. Bob Mayo, playing keyboards and guitar. In this case, I think piano he's playing on this, and I think the riff has the Leslie on it. I think I'm right about that. I I think I could hear it. And but he's got a very high kind of, he's got a very clear voice, hasn't he? A very clear kind of pure voice. It's not a huge amount of grit in it, but and also then he's got that that guitar sound for the solos, which is again this kind of huge sound but very pure. There's not much, there's not massive distortion in it in those things. It's a very high kind of clear pure sound that is it's lovely. It's not to me not piercing, but when he comes in with that really high notes there, it's really great, and really sets it off. I love those things, and he's very melodic player as well. Talk about that a lot, but in a different way, I think, than a lot of other guitarists. Then I think, Brad, you can talk more about this, about but that melodic way of playing is not Eric Clapton, if you like. It's a different thing, and I think that's that gives him a sound all of his own. So I think this is a great opening song. I think, as I say, the sound of it is fantastic. I think it's apparently when they went in the studio to listen, when they originally think of it as a single album, they went in, and he said they just put to listen to this track, they just put the faders flat. They didn't do anything with it, and he said the sound, even then, the sound was like it just had something, had more than just, and he said, so clearly when they mixed it sounded even better. So for me, it's 9 out of 10, never a skip, a great opening track to an album. Really sets it up, tees it up. It's got all the sounds there, and it's got his way of playing, and fantastic. Really like it.
Well, hard to follow you and Andy with the description. Well, I'll keep it short and sharp and straight to the point with mine. So with something happening, for me, it's got a great melody. I'm a song guy. I love songs, good songs with melody, and it's got a great melody. The vocals are very strong. I love the piano playing. It's a melodic solo, as you mentioned, Simon. It's beautiful. He's just playing for the song. There's magic being captured here live. It's magic, and the second and third solos are perfect. They're arranged for the music. It's like I think he's thought them out. Really, really well done. The band are on fire. They have a great feel. I love the little outro section on guitar as well. I have to give it a 9 out of 10. It's never a skip for me. Andrew, hand it over to you.
Look, I agree with you guys. I think the synopsis that you guys are offering on these songs, it's going to be fantastic. And like I said, I'm not here to say that I know a crap load about Peter Frampton. But, other than back up some of the points that my co-hosts are making in particular. But I think Simon's hit the nail on the head when he talks about the fact that there's a connection with Humble Pie, because we've done that. So the fact that you're hearing something that's clearly rock and roll is really, really important on this opening track, because it is a rock and roll album, and you're getting that. But then you go into this album a little bit more deeper, don't you? And you find out, well, it's just a little bit more than a rock and roll album. There's some beautiful moments being captured in there. Not saying that rock and roll's not beautiful, but I just love the fact that it's a smack in the face. I love it. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I'd love to give it a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to keep some of those scores back a little bit for some of the other tracks. But look, I have to do something. Someone has sent me something, and I've got to show this photo of somebody and see if you guys can recognize this person. So this is somebody wearing this T-shirt when this album came out. I'm going to get rid of this banner, and see if you guys can recognize this person. Yeah, that's somebody in the chat. So I'm not going to tell you guys who this person is, but it's somebody. It's somebody in the chat when they were. Hold on. hold on, guys. Trust me to take the show down a canal. When that person was 15 when this album came out. So
15. Could I say? Is it Mark Tanner? Sorry, Mark.
and it's definitely a woman. It's definitely a woman. So if you guys can't, we'll come back to it. But there she is wearing a Frampton t-shirt. So hits the nail on the head. Thank you guys for letting me go down that little path there. Thank you. 9.5 out of 10. Never a skip. Sets the scene. Andy.
The next song, which I thought was absolutely brilliant, was really a tribute to the Doobie Brothers. You hear Long Train Running straight away. I thought this was brilliant, and it's called Doobie Wah. And I just love the guitar on this. I thought it played absolutely brilliant. I just love this sort of feel. And I think, listen to it again this week, which I've done a few times. It's a foot tapper. It definitely has the hook and the beat. It was a fantastic song. I mean, really, could you put this song as an intro? You know, because I think it's just as strong as the first one. But I think for this one, I'll probably give this one about a 9. Just the fact is that it just has such a great feel, and the rhythm, everything's there for me. I love stuff like this, and I always like the Doobie Brothers as well. And Long Train Running is probably one of the most giggable tunes you'll come across. Probably not played as much now, obviously, but it was definitely in a set back in the 70s, maybe early 80s. But I thought this was brilliant, and I thought his rhythm and playing on this was fantastic. What do you think, Simon?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. I mean, it's completely the Doobie Brothers, isn't it? And do you know, it only struck me the other day. I don't know what an idiot I am wandering in my head in the clouds. You know, I was listening to it in the car driving along. It's like, and I go, of course it is. It's the blooming Doobie Brothers Long Train Running. That's of course what it is, you idiot. It's like I'd stumbled across the Holy Grail. You know, of course everyone knows that except me. But you know, I'm catching up. I'm getting there. It's yes. I mean, that kind of funky sort of playing is, you know, is very 76, but you know, quite a lot of, you know, that kind of style of guitar playing is you know, around a lot then, and contrasting with the first track, you know, but also having having that kind of funky bass and drums as well, you know. I mean, I think that, you know, shout out to the band, because they are, you know, they absolutely cook. You know, they, you know, for me, they're, you know, they're really doing it well. And I think that they are a tribute. You know, clearly they gigged a lot and they've got it down and they've got it tight. You know, tight but loose. You know, and one of the interesting things is you know, that apparently that there's hardly any fixing on the album as well. Frampton said there's a bit of rhythm guitar on one of the tracks where the mic had got kicked around the other way, but pretty much it's the live sounds. And I think that you know, that it's a tribute to that, you know, that how well they played, that there's not any mistakes, is there? I couldn't really hear any mistakes and stuff. It's you know, I think I like the fact that it has that kind of early 70s kind of dynamic where you drop things down, you bring things back, and you play in a different way. So you play some funky guitar, you do some arpeggio guitar, you know, and then they just do some cymbal stuff, and you know, it's got 2 guitars on it. But again, that massive guitar sound on it that he manages to get, that struck me, especially on headphones. Good Lord, you know, it just struck me forcibly about how massive it was. It's, you know, a really catchy tune. You know, it's got a great riff to it. You know, drags you in, and you know, and I think that back in those days, you know, a lot of things were, you know, they tried to make people kind of dance, didn't they? There was a kind of dance element to it, which I think is, you know, that funky thing that is in this. So it's 9 out of 10 for me. Never a skip. You know, really great second track, and you know, again, setting the scene, saying this is what I can do, kind of thing. A different vibe.
So what do you think? Do you think, chaps? Do you think this would be a strong enough one for a first song in a live set? Would you think, or think it's ideally placed as a number 2 song?
I think it's highly do it. I think something's happening. Just the title is what you have as the first track. I absolutely think that's that is the right decision. That if you're doing it, it's a great song. It's got a great riff. It's that big guitar sound at the beginning. But I think that's the opener, and it absolutely is. So I think that it's absolutely ran the right way. You probably could start with it, but I think if you've got a song called "Something's Happening," you're going to start with it.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got that big kind of electric. I mean, one of the things we should probably talk about is the differences between the album versions and the live versions. I mean, the live versions are much more robust than the album versions. Clearly they've translated to much more of an electric kind of rock sound than the albums, which are more acoustic and kind of a bit lighter, really. I'm kind of where he is, but yes, 9 out of 10 for me. Never a skip, Brad.
Doobie Wah. I hear the Doobie Brothers now because of the title. It's like I probably wouldn't have picked it beforehand. I might have got round to it eventually, going, "Oh, it sounds like something to do with the Doobie Brothers." But
I'm not alone then.
no, look, I have to agree. It could have been an opener, and would have been a great opener. But it goes really well as a second track as well. Nice funky feel. I love the intro guitar lead, the little lead section he does there. Obviously, he's a great vocalist and sings great, really strong. I love there's a little spacey, airy bit in the middle of the song there, just very spacious and some nice effects going on there. But the middle, the bass playing in that middle section is great as well. The main guitar solo is fantastic. 9 out of 10 for me. It's never a skip. And Doobie Brothers maybe, but I still think he's put his own little stamp on it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But that opening riff is definitely a tribute to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to stick my finger up and say that we knew that there was a connection with the Doobie Brothers back then. So, but I got told that too, so I didn't know anything about it. But yeah, it was something that we kind of discussed. I'm glad that you guys mentioned, and Holly's saying it too in the chat, and along with G, it's got that summertime Southern California vibe thing going on this album, and you certainly pick it up by the second song, don't you? I don't have a problem with any of the track listings, the way that the album is listed. I think it's fantastic. Live albums tend to work out well like that from me anyway. It seems to be studio albums where I would change a couple of songs around. I'm glad that the Rock Professor mentioned if you've got a song called Something's Happening, of course you're going to have something called Something's because words back then for songwriters, didn't they, Brad? They meant something as well too, and titles of songs again had messages as well. And so yeah, I like it. But it's always a good thing, though, to talk about, isn't it, where you would put a song. Brad, I love the Wah. You know that. The Wah is really good. I think he plays it well. But I think the music thing for me is the percussion. The way the drum is playing in this, it comes through really, really well. It captures me. It's got that swing that we all love. And I'm never going to give this song anything less than a 9 as well. Certainly never a skip. But I've bought into the program. I'm here for the trip, guys. Andy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you actually. So the next song is probably the one that everyone knows, and what's really synonymous with Peter Frampton is "Show Me the Way." I can't say anything more than I thought it was. Even now, I still think it's brilliant. And using the talk box. But I'm not exactly so Simon, and maybe Brad might be able to help me with this one, but maybe people in the chat, was he the first person to use the talk box? I mean, over the years, you've got I think David Gilmour used it on, I think used it maybe one of the songs in Division album, but over the years, a lot of people have used it Rocky Mountain Way, that was used on that, and also Richie Sambora used it, but a lot of people use it during some of the recordings, but absolutely fantastic song. And I think the third song in, his voice is starting to warm up.
Correct.
starts to get stronger, and then you realizing this bloke can sing pretty well, even though you've got two songs. But I mean, you've got this one, and the band seems to, after the second song, the band just seems to come to life. And for me, I think it's perfect. And even now, it's like classical music. I might get told off for this actually. It's certain things throughout time becomes timeless. And listen to this song played live, and you listen to the recorded version. It sounds perfect. It sounds exactly as you would hear it. There's no slippages.
Yep.
The guitar's playing perfectly, and it's a brilliant song. Another foot tapper. So I hope when you listen to this week, Simon, you didn't drive through any red lights.
I live in the country.
You could just keep driving.
There are no red lights.
There's no red lights. But yeah, absolutely fantastic song. And when you mention, it's funny, isn't it? Because we were on about Jeff Beck last week,
Yes.
and when you say to a lot of people about Jeff Beck, depending on the age of people, obviously, the only song that you can relate to, and people say, "Oh, Silver Lining." Well, yeah, but it's not listening to any other Jeff Beck's music. But this, I mean, Show Me the Way, and you mentioned Peter Frampton, to a lot of people that play instruments or like music from this particular, they would know this. They'd know this anywhere. Absolutely brilliant song. So for me, I'm gonna have to give it a 10. To be honest, I think I love it. So there you go. Can you beat that? Well, you can't beat that, Simon. Can you? It's a Spinal Tap. You go to 11.
I can. Remember, we've got Brad scores.
Oh,
Got Brad scores, Andy. We've always got the Brad score, which is always one more than you could have. But well, yes. On the subject of the talk box, Joe Walsh recorded Rocky Mountain Way in '73, so he's before Frampton. So the talk box had already been invented. Been invented by them. But you're right. It is. There's not. I was thinking about this. There are not that many records with it on, are there? I mean, Richie Sambora later in Bon Jovi, but in there's clearly Show Me the Way and Rocky Mountain Way, the two that come to mind to me, and I don't remember anybody else particularly using it in the early mid '70s beyond those two guys, and then only sparingly. I mean, he only uses it on a couple of tracks on here, but he doesn't use it all the time, does he?
No.
I think that's cool. Actually, you use it sparingly, therefore its effect is greater, rather than anything else. So that's yes, couldn't agree. I mean, clearly the standout thing of this is the voice box playing the melody. Him singing, doing that singing thing, which is cool. The song apparently is about he's a drowning man looking for someone to throw him a life preserver. But the lyrics kind of vague, but he's clearly seeking some guidance and asking somebody to show him the way. And apparently he said that he just met somebody that gave him some confidence and his life completely changed. And all the lyrics in that song are about me and her, he said. So, that's the kind of, and you can hear that in the song. But yeah, it's a great song. It's a 10 out of 10, and clearly one of the standout tracks on this. Classic hit. I like the things like the way that the drummer, particularly the hi hat, doubles in time and parts and then does a straight beat. There's always kind of mixing up. And he's called John Siomos, the drummer. So hats off to him, because I think as I said, the band are great. It's a great song. It's a hit. It's one of the classics, and it's been used since, hasn't it? I think somebody more recently's had sort of hits using parts of it. So yes, 10 out of 10 for me. Never a skip. A great third track.
Yeah, Show Me the Way. It's a classic song. It's got the classic talk box in the song. I mean that you guys have touched on all that. It's got great melody, and the chord changes are melodic. So that in itself just lends itself to a beautiful vocal melody. You can sing anything over a chord structure like that. The vocals are fantastic. It's a catchy song. The band are fantastic. They're playing really tight. I really love the acoustic sound, like the acoustic guitar in it. It's got that lovely acoustic sound. I'm not going to sort of elaborate too much more than what you guys have already. It's a classic song that gets played on the radio here on FM, Classic FM here. Like pretty much every time I turn the radio on, Peter Frampton comes live. It always is this song. So, it's been done to death, but I have to give it 10 out of 10 because in the context of the record, and that's how we rank things on this show, it's definitely a 10 for me. Never a skip. Andrew.
I just want to make a comment. Yeah, thank you, bro. Johnny Heartbreaker is correct. So the live in Detroit DVD, Frampton talks about how he first came across the talk box back in 1970. And we made mention of this, didn't we, when we ranked All Things Must Pass, that Frampton was involved in those sessions as well, too. So that's an interesting point. But we'll do some more research on that when we do part 2, which is going to be a little bit gear orientated, guys. So if you want to help us, Johnny Heartbreaker and everyone else, do some research and preparation for next week, please do. We'll look forward to it. Brad, I have to Brad score this song, bro. I'm sorry. I can't give this song any. It's etched into my mind. It's just about a perfect recording of a live song. It's got all the elements. You can hear the drums and the beat and playing with the bass. You mentioned, Brad, also the way the acoustic comes in and comes out of this song. It's fantastic. The way it's recorded, Simon and Andy, it's a remarkable recording. And then when I went and watched a lot of these songs live on YouTube, because, in preparation for the show, I'm just blown away with how they managed to do this. It's phenomenal. It deserves its place in rock and roll history. It's a perfect live recording song for me. Brad score, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 10, never a skip.
See, Andy told you. You see, he's gone one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. No, that's a great score.
Yeah. Sorry, bro.
Don't apologize.
Andy, what's the next song, brother?
The next song is "It's a Plain Shame," and I thought this song, I thought it was okay actually. After "Show Me the Way," you're on so much of a high because it's a fantastic song. I thought this one just has a little bit of a peak, and then when we move into the other songs, it builds up again. I thought this was okay, and actually, to be honest with you, I'm probably trying to remember it. That's bad. So after "Show Me the Way," because it's so the first 3 songs are so pivotal in my memory that I thought this was okay actually. I thought you sang brilliant on this, and I can't really say more than that, to be honest. I'll probably give this one, I'd say probably maybe an 8. I think a fair 8. I mean, obviously I'll have to listen to it again, but you got a song before this was just on the high. It's just an absolutely brilliant song. So, but I'll give it an 8 for this one.
Okay, Rock Professor.
Cool.
I understand. Don't agree with you. Hey, Mitch.
Wouldn't let it lie, would you? You wouldn't let it lie. You had to get in there. Well, yes, it's I love the intro. It's kind of there's something very English about Peter Frampton, isn't it? How about some rock and roll? This is an oldie but goodie. I love the oldie but goodie bit. Yeah, 3 years old, Peter. It's not something from your catalogue from 30 years ago. I like the idea that something 3 years old could be an oldie, but that's the times that they were. But yes, very English. But I think that it has that really big sound. It has those great overdriven chords at the beginning, and he knows how to get a really good overdrive sound just by, just with the Gibson and the Marshall, pretty much. A couple of pedals, but that sound is, great vocals as well. I think he's, as you say, he's really getting to. He mentions San Francisco. You'll notice in the song. Well done if you're recording at the Winterland in San Francisco. It's always worth mentioning the fans' hometown. Get a big cheer. Again, the solo, that high melodic, crystal clear sound that he gets on it, amazing kind of thing. I think it's amazing guitar solo, raising melodic, as I say, high crystal guitar solo. 9 out of 10 for me, never a skip. I think it's a really good ending to side one myself.
Yes, yeah.
And I think that as a side, it flows really well. It's all the songs are in the right place. It's got the light and the shade and the different sounds of it. And the use of that dynamics, particularly of the guitar and things. I think is really cool. So I'm in a 9 out of 10 and never a skip.
Awesome. Brad?
Well, for me, it's a great tune. I think there's a lot of sonic space in this song. You can really hear everything for me. I love the openness that I'm hearing in the song. There's a lot of color in there. I love like Simon alluded to, it's got a great guitar solo, very melodic. The song itself reminds me of something. I can't put my finger on what it is. I listened a few times today going, what does this remind me of? I don't know if you guys have picked up on a similarity, something in the same era. I can't think of what it is, but at some point it will come to me. But look, for me, I really think at this point of the album, it was a great choice to put this on is this the actual set list that he played live, or is this actually just he put this sequence for the album? Does anyone know?
No, I think he played it live.
Yeah. It comes in like at the right time. The vibe of the song is perfect for that situation situated on the album. So obviously live it would have been the same. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. It's never a skip, and it really at this point you can really see that Peter Frampton at this point has cemented himself as a solo artist. That's what I got from the song.
Look, I agree with you, bro. I think it's a fantastic song. That 30 seconds and you're in, and there's some crunchiness going on in that guitar. He's certainly, letting people know with some of the fills that he's doing on this song that he's up there. He's more than just a rhythm guitarist. So I love that. Once again, the Rock Professor has been reading my notes. I'm glad that he mentioned the interaction between Peter Frampton and the audience, because that's again a crucial element to a very good live album. If you have that flow between talking to the audience, which was a big thing, wasn't it, back in the 70s? Introducing songs and talking about songs and getting that from the audience. And so when you're listening to it through your headphones up on the third floor of the parapet, looking at the stars, Simon, it's almost like you're there. It's that component that you want, and I get that from this. It's a believable album. I listened to it again 3 or 4 times over the week, Brad. I was captured by it. I was captured by the intensity. So I'm looking forward to flipping it over for side 2. But just about perfect. Just about a perfect side 1 for a live album, which is not bad. And I've got to give this a 9 out of 10 too. And it's never a skip. No skips on this album side. Andy.
I'm going to ask a question now, actually, for the panel, but also people in the chat. So of that particular day, let's say 1976, where would you, out of the 10 guitarists in the world, where would you rate him? Where would you put Peter Frampton?
Well, if I was a young teenager in 1976, he'd be in your top 3 or 4, wouldn't you? Clearly with this album, clearly. And I think he was for a lot of people, because when you talk about other artists or go online and see other artists talking about Peter Frampton, this album was hugely influential, Brad, wasn't it, for other guitar players as well? So, yeah, deservedly so. That's my opinion.
100%. I mean, it was a massive selling album. What was it, 8 million copies or something? It's done. a lot of musicians grab this record, you know.
Yes, he kind of came out of nowhere, really. It's because these previous and I think that he's working Humble Pie and Frampton Comes Alive. Clearly, you've got those in Humble Pie. You've got the two guitars, but I mean, I think he's in with a lot of other guitarists in that that 1969, 70, 71 period when he was in Humble Pie. So and then. I was alive then. He didn't really stick out as a great guitar player back then. It's weird to say that, but I think it's true, and I think that this album probably brought him to the fore. So I think maybe if you've gone back 2 years, you wouldn't be mentioning him in your top 10, and then all of a sudden you could well be mentioning him in your top 5 because of Frampton Comes Alive, and that's showing that.
Yep.
Not only is he a great guitar player, but he has a kind of unique sound. He plays differently. I mean, he's talked about his influences and deliberately not going down the Clapton route. Because clearly he's alive when the Beano album came out and the whole world goes off down the Marshall Gibson route. Funnily enough, but his influences were, and his instinct was not to do that because everyone else was doing it, and his instinct was to.
Look, I agree with you, Simon. There's no disrespect to Peter Frampton when I say this, but he didn't have that dangerous edge like some of the acts did have in the mid '70s, and they fostered and built on that dangerous act. The fact that he was able to craft rock and roll around a pop sensibility, and again, you have to remember this, and we all know this though, don't we, Simon and Brad and Andy? We know this, that pop music back then wasn't a bad thing. If you were labelled a pop music artist, it wasn't like what it is today,
Careful now.
So. And I think that's what I like about this album. It didn't have that abrasiveness like that the Stones had, for example, or Led Zeppelin, or Deep Purple. It had, but it had some rockiness and it kept within that comfortable barrier. That's not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I mean, he said that he kind of went and he started emulating multiple jazz players. I think his dad was a big jazz fan and would play Kenny Burrell, Joe Pass, Wes Montgomery, Django Reinhardt, and things. And he liked the fact that they didn't just play blues, the straight blues stuff. So he went much more down that route and learned those things.
And Crappy agrees with us.
See, somebody's out there agreeing with us. But yeah, I think it's I think that the best thing you can say about him is he's got, whether he's in your top 10 or whatever, that he has an original sound. That it's not he has a sound that is his own. Yeah.
Hey, Paulie.
Morning, Paulie. It's yes, we should say morning to Johnny Bean, and we should say morning to, we had a new guy in the chat called Steve-O. So welcome to him. It's a new name that I've not seen before. And that's cool.
Oh, Steve-O is, we know who Steve-O is. He's from, he's Kurt's boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Fantastic, yeah. I have ever forgotten everyone's name.
So I've just got some picks, guys, that we'll just run through before we quickly go and do side 2 of album 1. But and we'll go more into some of these picks next week, guys. But look at that, Brad. Look at that. That's just phenomenal, isn't it? Look at that. Just rock and roll, isn't it?
Unreal.
Sold out stadium.
A great picture.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Timeless. That's a timeless picture.
The previous picture, do we know on the size of the crowd?
So I've got some more picks there. I think there was 60,000 people.
Yeah.
So he was a big huge artist. He was, up there with Led Zeppelin, as far as drawing people to live acts.
Popularity is right up there.
Yeah. But here he is there, and again, we'll talk more about this. Brad's going to elaborate for us next week on this famous guitar, aren't you, brother?
Yeah.
The Phoenix.
Yeah, beautiful Les Paul.
Yeah.
And there's a classic photo there.
Yeah.
That's definitely a picture to be on the ladies' wall, I would imagine, that one.
Looks like a soapy actor or something,
Definitely a handsome fella.
Off the Days of Our Lives or something,
He looks a little bit like the rock professor now, which doesn't he?
I've got more hair than him.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the rock professor moonlights on a. Did you know the rock professor moonlights on a soapy, Andrew? He's on a soapy.
I don't know what a soapy is. I'm hoping it's something nice.
It might mean something in our country, though.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you what it means in our country either. Family show. Anyway, gentlemen, back to the picks.
Stop that! This is a family show. Stop that with your New World filth.
And there's the man there himself playing a beautiful custom, isn't he? It's just fantastic. Getting into it.
Be interesting how much do you think those will be worth now?
Oh,
that guitar. Well, it's
timeless.
Yeah,
it's a timeless piece of history now. That would be worth a mint. The insurance alone for him would be so much.
Yeah,
$1 million easy.
Yeah.
You just thought so, wouldn't you? If it ever came up for sale, because of that story and because of the, and at his base, it's in the 50s Les Paul, isn't it? So,
it's unbelievable.
And again, if you have a look at some of the footage too, Simon, they're playing tight together. Even though they've got big stages, they're playing as a group.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's my favourite thing is them all there we are. Let's see, huddle around the drum kit.
Yeah, some would say a non-musician, but that's a personal thing. When it comes to drummers, but.
Oh, look at that, Daddy. You can't start doing that now. We've had drummers on the show.
It's interesting that you guys should talk about that. I'm going on another detour, but I watched The Dirt again. I couldn't sleep the other night, so I watched The Dirt on Netflix because we spoke about it on the pre-show gig. And I went and bought this Motley Crue biography today because Chris said go and buy it. And it's interesting because and Brad will like this. Mick Mars doesn't call Tommy Lee by his name. He just calls him the drummer. Hey, drummer.
Does he call him my drummer?
He just says drummer. Come here, drummer.
Oh God!
I'm just hoping
it's going to get you into trouble. You see, now we're in trouble now, aren't we?
I'm just hoping that Peter Frampton kept his drummers more than Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? I think apparently one of his things is once you're in my band, you're in it for a long time. Hotel California. Yes.
Yeah. Never get out.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Cool pictures as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So just before we do, again, hold on, guys. I didn't. Please allow me one more. So if you guys didn't work out who that person was, that was Holly.
Holly.
It's going to say Holly.
Fantastic.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Holly in 1976 with her Frampton Comes Alive T-shirt.
Very cool.
Does Holly still have a T-shirt?
Was she
That'd be
alive in
interesting.
1976?
She was breaking hearts, and she's breaking hearts now.
Good work.
Do you still have the T-shirt, Holly? That'd be interesting.
Oh dear. And good night, Paulie. Sleep well.
Good night.
Night.
Nice. Thanks for dropping by. Very cool.
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 Okay, guys, should we get on to side two?
Side
We had
two.
about 20 people watching us. We're down to 18, 19 people. Thank you guys very much for watching us. Thank you for all the subs, and thank you for all the views, guys. If you've managed to get to 1 hour and 5 minutes and you're still watching us, we really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing our channel too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
So flipping the album over, the next song we've got is All I Want to Be Is By Your Side. So I thought this was quite nice. I think a lot of the 80s albums, really, look at the heavy metal and rock albums, they always had to throw ballads in.
Yeah.
But I thought this was lovely. He's got such a great voice. And he's not, what I really like about Peter Frampton, especially singing live, he doesn't shout, he sings. You do get a lot of people that go a bit more than what they normally do. I just thought this was a lovely song. And for the first song on the second album, of the vinyl, I thought it was great. I would give this at least, I'll probably say 10, to be honest. If you can do one better than that, Brad, I'll be happy with that. But no, I like this song. I thought it was lovely played. And I'll probably go back to listen to this song, actually. If I had a vinyl at that particular time, I didn't have very many vinyls. So I probably would have took the needle off and went back and listened to this song again. Lovely song. I quite like ballads, actually. And, you know, if you're with your loved one, you know, when it comes to the ballad section, you know, and have a little look over to them, give them a nod, and then send them to the bar, that would be brilliant. no, lovely song. So I would say, in fact, I would give it a 9, I think, for this one.
Yeah. I think that the first thing I say about it is how beautifully is the acoustic recorded. What a great sound. And I think, that live, that's the first thing that struck me. It's like, wow, listen to that, you know, and I talk a bit about on here about acoustic guitars, never sounded better than they did in 1970 when people were recording them then, people like John Wood and stuff. But the sound on this is really great, and I think it's a beautiful song. Got fantastic fantastic set of chords, and I think I'll go back to Brad's point, which is the thing you say about Frampton is it's all about the song. It is about the song. And Andy, you're right. He doesn't have that kind of blues shouter voice, does he? With the grit in it, it's pretty high and pretty pure voice. And clearly choosing songs, writing to suit that is a thing. I think there's a lot of energetic, powerful playing in it as well. He's not holding back. He's banging away on that acoustic, and I like particularly the falsetto. He just uses a falsetto just as a kind of contrast thing, just a bit of a vocal contrast. Really great song. 9 out of 10 from me. Never a skip. And I think that this is the acoustic interlude, and it starts off really well. Brad.
Look, it's a beautiful song. Acoustic. They sound amazing. Back in this era, they seem to record acoustics great. This is a perfect example of a well-recorded acoustic live. I love the sound of it. Sounds like an open tuning to me. Are you guys on the same page there as me, or more open chords? So I sort of pick up on that open tuning, and I think open tunings tend to lean themselves to sounding bigger and fuller, especially in a live scenario, than playing just open chords or bar chords. You got more resonance there and everything. So to me, maybe that's why I think it's a great little ditty, and it's recorded and performed fantastically. I gave it a 9 out of 10. A nice, refreshing change. You know, a good acoustic tune can sometimes ruin the mood or vibe of a say a live performance, but I think this just enhances it. I think it's great, Andrew.
Look, again, I suppose one of the horrible things about doing this show, and there are a couple of horrible things about doing this show, but
one of them's having to put up with us.
well,
One of them's having to put up with us, isn't it?
well, it's going last because everybody, all my co-hosts are so well with their points. But look, I have to agree with you, Brad. I'm looking at my notes here. I think there's open tuning. There's certainly open tuning going on here. I think, and because of exactly what Brad said, because of that resonance that you get. And it's really good because there's nothing wrong with having an acoustic song just being strummed and having a very good vocalist sing the song. You know, you don't need to be doing all this intricate alternate picking that some of these acoustic guitar players were doing around that time. And that's fine. That's okay. You know, Neil Young was doing that. But, you know, this guy here is just strumming it. And you know, Brad, the connection I made when I was hearing this was when they dropped about 4 days ago the Clapton Motherless Child video that's coming out next month. And Clapton's sitting there with this 12 string and it's capoed and it's opened. And all you can see by the way that he's playing the chords that it's just open tuning because he's doing open tuning chords. Yeah. And that was when the penny dropped for me. So he's getting this big full sound out of a 12 string with those open chords. So I think you're on the money. And isn't it great when you hear these things and you make these connections during the week and you come together with a rock professor, with a guest host and Brad, and it all comes together. I just love it. It's one of the reasons why I love doing this show. So there are reasons why we love doing this show too. If that makes any sense.
Dig up something that we haven't said, or what are you complaining about?
but I think Brad's on the money there, and that was a point that I made. Beautiful singing. Look, guys, I'm going to give it a 9 too. I got an 8.5 here, but I think I'm going to go 9 with you guys. I think it's a fantastic song. Suits the album. It's definitely not something that goes, oh, it doesn't belong here. I love it. Andy,
I think for me the perfect thing about Andy is that he plays it really energetically and powerfully.
Correct.
You know, he's not holding back. He's cracking into it, and I think that the fact that he's kind of pretty solo acoustic, that you have to go. It's not a ballad. You have to go into it with some energy and with some verve and I think that's one of the really good things that carries it as a solo acoustic piece. And the reason the concert doesn't do that, which it could easily do if he went into a very kind of delicate ballad.
Sure,
it could go off a cliff, couldn't it? But it doesn't do that because it's because of that energy and that the verve of playing. Sorry,
Would you throw any acoustic into your sets, Brad? Would you, when you're playing live, or?
Most of the bands I'm in, we don't really do a lot of acoustic stuff, and mainly because of the production. It's all electric. There's keyboards, there's drums. The minute we put acoustics in there, they seem to get a little bit lost. I have done acoustic shows though, like acoustic duos, and I have done like a Guns N' Roses show where we put acoustic stuff in the set. If we do a full big show, we do Lies stuff acoustically. So we have done that in the past, which is wonderful. But you need the time to get the acoustics sounding good, or it's not worth doing. So in this day and age, the way they sort of push you in and out of a venue, you don't get a lot of time for sound check, is what I'm getting. So
which is
you've got the time, and you can put on a big production. It's well and truly worth putting an acoustic set into the middle of a gig. I think it really works well.
I'm going to do a bit of a shout out here, guys. Go and check out Brad's channel. There's a wonderful clip of him doing an NXS song, Never Tear Us Apart. on his channel where he's playing that acoustically.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, our humble Brad, God bless him.
Thanks, Andrew.
But yeah. Go and check out his channel, guys. Go and sub to his channel. If anyone's watching the replay, go and watch our community page. Go and sub to everybody on that channel. If you guys want to be on our community channel, let us know and we'll get you there. But go and check out Brad playing some acoustic, singing. Get prepared to get your socks knocked off.
Well, I've got socks on now.
Thanks for that. We do quite a lot of acoustic type stuff in our little band. Yeah. But I cheat, Andy. I have a Boss GT3.
Oh, she's the acoustic simulator.
Lots of very nice acoustic simulations in it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
That's cheating.
That is cheating. That is cheating. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, when he said Boss, I was expecting to say a Boss Metal Zone.
Now that would be interesting, actually. Yeah.
It's got one of those in it as well. Yes. But I don't use it for acoustic sounds.
hey guys, I'm sorry to interrupt, but did you see I posted that Clapton Crossroads pedal, and I said, this is the best pedal ever. Anyway, a lot of people got it that I was taking the mickey out of it, but one guy, this dude, I have no idea, got like really shitty and made this comment about it, saying it depends what amp you, and and Colonel Mully just replied back to him and said something like, "What are you on?"
It's a joke, isn't it?
People why do people have to? Why are people so touchy feel? Oh, anyway, that may be political. Sorry. I did.
No, that's fine.
I detoured the show again. I'm always sockless for the show. Hugh, happy birthday, Hugh.
Yes, happy birthday.
That's his birthday.
Happy birthday to Ben
Hugh.
Coombs as well. Yeah. Happy birthday to Ben Coombs as well. It's Ben's birthday today. So happy birthday, Ben. He'll be doing his crazy birthday hang later for sure.
What song are we up to, guys?
Next song is Wind of Change. It's not a very long song. It's about 2 minutes 47 seconds. I thought it was quite a nice song. I think it's quite remarkable now, is because we're going towards the latter end of the concert, so to speak. I think I get a feel now the album does have a few little peaks and troughs, but not very many troughs. I mean, all the songs are strong. When it gets to this particular point, when you think about the next song, I thought it was perfectly placed. I thought it was really, really well played. I thought obviously we talk about the next song, which is another famous song by Peter Frampton, that Peter Frampton's known for. I thought this song was brilliant. I'll give a 9 as well, to be honest. It's difficult when you listen to a live album, because when you listen to a normal recorded album, you do think they put what we call stocking fillers in. And when it comes to a live album, and you think it is a greatest hits album, I thought this was a brilliant song. And I thought it was perfectly placed. I wouldn't put it anywhere else in the set other than where it is. And again, really over the last songs we've talked about, I mean, this chap was a phenomenal guitar player. And I think the people he booked in the band of the day, they must have been at least to the top, and probably the musicians that people would have sought after to do sessions probably as well. I think maybe Frampton may have done a couple of sessions over the years, but yeah, I like this song, so I'd probably give this one a 9.
Beautiful.
I think it's, yes. I mean, I think that Frampton's advantage, as I said earlier, is that this is a kind of greatest hit. So there's not, you can pick out all your strongest songs and put them on. And then it's about flow, and it's about programming. It's about putting it together. And clearly this this acoustic bit, after the first 4 opening numbers, is a thought out move to do that, to keep it. And so we have the two kind of things that he does on his own. You know, the previous one, All I Want to Be Is By Your Side and Wind of Change, you know, just does them on his own. But, you know, keeping that kind of energy in that verve and that playing, you know, I think really important in a live environment. You know, the crowd, the crowd are clearly, you know, still really into it, and you know, still grooving along. You know, I think that, and this, you know, this is another part of that. I think it's beautifully played, it's beautifully sung, it's got that high vocals again, pure. Yeah, it's got pretty sophisticated chords. It's not, you know, it's not a 3 chords, you know, strum trick. It's you know, somebody sets off a firecracker after it, you know, just to keep things lively. It doesn't put him off though. That's quite interesting. But I like the harmonics, you know, and and then the end bit, you know, with the humming and things. I think it's really good. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And I've never, you know, didn't skip it. Didn't even think of skipping it. You know, listening through, I was just really enjoying having an acoustic section. And I think quite a lot of bands, you know, Led Zeppelin used to do an acoustic section. You know, they do 3 or 4 songs where they go and sit on stools and kind of, you know, John Bonham would come out and just play a hand drum, you know, and that, you know, that was really cool. And people would make features of these things, and I think that's what he's doing here. He's making it a feature. He's chosen the songs wisely, chosen them well, and yeah, you know, played them really well and cracked in them. So 9 out of 10 for me. Never a skip.
I think having sort of acoustics. I mean, when you listen to the album, I think what it does, it also changes the dynamics as well, of not so much as the album, but as a musician and a guitarist. Yes. And a lot of people, you know, probably wouldn't really put, like what Brad was mentioning. I think it depends on your lineup as well. But sometimes putting an acoustic couple of songs, a lot of people don't like it. And I understand that. And if they just want to go and just listen to a rock band or whatever, and, you know, you throw a dynamic in.
Then I think it was much more the norm. Yeah. And I also think that the albums then were much more kind of diverse than they are now. You think about Led Zeppelin, you know, there's a lot of diversity on Led Zeppelin, and, you know, and I think people expected the next track is not going to sound like the last one, you know, nearly so much. And I think that over a period of, you know, the decades, what's happened is that albums have got sound-wise more homogenous, you know, so they get a sound and they make an album with that sound, you know, and it's a different thing, you know. But I think if you go back to the late 60s, early 70s, and you listen to those albums, that, you know, they're all about having acoustic numbers and different, you know, because they didn't have, you know, that huge palette of sounds that you have now, you know, in terms of pedals and what you can do and things. You have to find other ways of creating dynamics. One of those is, you know, loud, quiet, soft, you know, whatever. And one of the other bit is to play acoustic guitars and things, and have acoustic numbers that fit in, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody's doing, you know, an organ bit or whatever it is. And, you know, I mean, if you go back to the Jeff Beck album we did last week, you know, it's got that Nicky Hopkins piano bit, you know, the third track is just that Nicky Hopkins piano instrumental, you know. So I think that things have changed quite a lot since then. And Frampton is clearly in the, you know, late 60s, early 70s vibe, where you did these things, and your concert was all about having a dynamic over a period, and it was all about, you know, you did do acoustic numbers, and people were, you know, would go an acoustic number, especially if they knew it, you know. And I think this clearly, they know the songs on this, you know, the audience need to know the songs and stuff. So I think clearly it's, you know, it was different then than it is now. Whereas I think, you know, these days, it's a bit more difficult to get away with it, because, you know, people just start getting their phones out and looking at Facebook or whatever off it, you know, whereas then we couldn't do that. You had to pay attention. You know, I mean, you must have seen those marvelous kind of Led Zeppelin things where you know, they start playing Stairway to Heaven, and the people are just sitting there watching.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of jumping up and down and applause, going, "Yeah, it's Stairway to Heaven." You know, they've not heard it before, so they just do it.
Yeah, right, so chaps, get down in your seats. It's an acoustic number. Yeah. That's it.
Pay attention. We're going to do an acoustic seats now. Yes, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought about the point. Anyway, sorry.
For me, it's a another acoustic tune. I still think there's a hint of an open tuning or something going on there for the acoustic. Sounds fantastic. I think it's a common thing of this time frame and era where bands would take you on a journey in a concert. So basically what would happen is they'd rock you into the night sort of thing, get you going, and then obviously once they've got you and they've captivated you, then they can throw a little bit of delicate music in and give you a bit of a ride and a bit of a lull just to get your breath back, but also keep you entertained. And then those acoustic numbers also give, in my opinion, the artist like a more raw one-on-one situation with the crowd. And sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't. I think back in this era, it definitely worked because there was people experimenting with substances and all sorts of things, which made them more, willing to go on a journey when they went to see a gig. And I mean, it was a different era. People used to go and see live music to be entertained. And for me, this song does that. It entertains. It's that lull. The song's great. It's got it's a short song. It's not long. He doesn't overdo it. Sings beautifully on it, plays beautifully, and then the song's done. And we move on to, back into a sort of more elaborate set for Peter Frampton fans. And for that reason, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's never a skip. And I'll pass it over to Andrew.
Yeah, look, I have to agree with you guys. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 too. I'm looking at my my notes here. And I agree with what the rock professor said too. Contrasts are important. Contrasts were important for albums back then, but also for concerts. And, we all seem to be agreeing on that, that going to a concert was an event of having those contrasts. And we said it before, didn't we, on one of the Zoso shows about light and shade, being an important part of what the musician was doing back then. More so because it had to have some kind of emotional response. So these quiet acoustic songs certainly get that, don't they? And it was expected, because you were sort of, feeding off the singer-songwriter thing there. Simon got his 12-string acoustic because he was, inspired by the singer-songwriters from earlier from that period, that were singing. James Taylor, all these guys, were doing all that kind of stuff. So, and again, as Brad said, putting that in your arsenal as a musician just meant that you were probably more skilled. I don't know, more attuned to what was happening with your concert studio and your audiences back then. That's what I think, and he pulls it off. When I was listening to it though, guys, today, a penny dropped. He's taken us on a journey with these two acoustic songs for the next song, because he knows, and everybody knows that the next song is going to be a great song. So when I just became conscious of it. So he's taken you, as the rock professor said, on this journey. He's given you a couple of little crumbs, Hansel and Gretel. Throwing your little things on the track, and then he's going to get you when you get into the gingerbread house. So, I love it. But I'm still going to give it an 8 out of 10. Fits perfectly. And as Brad said, it's never a skip. Hope I made sense.
Yeah.
Andy, back to you.
So the next one. So the next song, this is quite strange in many respects, because it is one of my favourite songs that I would pick on a playlist. But going back, I think it must have been about a month ago, I went into a local shop. We have in the shops in the UK, we have a shop called B&M, and you can generally get anything in B&M's pretty cheap. And they had this song on, but it wasn't Peter Frampton singing, but due to legal reasons, obviously. And you could probably get this song even if in a lift. They'll play this song anywhere, and it's a lovely song. So it's "Baby, I Love Your Way," and again, exactly what you said. Is with the acoustics and the acoustic tracks, it builds up for the next song, which is absolutely wonderful. He's got such a great voice, and when it comes to this song, you realise that you want to hear more and more and more and more, because it's such a great concert. You could sit through another, at least if he had another back catalogue of such great tunes, you could at least put another hour on this. As we talk about, when we talk about side 3, that's a different monster. But no, I love this song. One of my favourite songs, probably of all time. So I would say I'll give this one at least a 10. Not just for hearing it in B&Ms, but just the way it is. It's just a lovely, lovely song. And it's one of those sort of songs where you'd feel it would pull people together. Such a nice feeling and lovely song. So I'll hand this over to you, Simon.
Yeah, yes, completely agree. It's the other, the other hit single off of this album, the other classic off it. Go straight into it with the acoustic, with those descending chords, and then the band come in, bass, drums, and Bob Mayo playing the electric Fender Rhodes electric piano, which is great. Again, not heard that before, so it's it's just bring the band in, because that's what's going to happen, and after the acoustic and just him playing, it's a great song, and as I think Bob Mayo does great. Him and Frampton sing really well together.
The mix really well done.
That Bob Mayo does is just brilliant. I think it's you'd hope to get two voices that were melded together like that. I think that's really good. I think it has a great keyboard solo. So I love the keyboard solo, that electric piano keyboard solo. I think it has such a cool vibe to it, and he knows what to do. Bob Mayo is
correct.
Is a thing. Sadly, the late Bob Mayo, he died quite recently, but and it's quite complex. The key solo is quite complex melodically. It's not kind of messing about, just playing a few chords. He's laying down some cool runs and things. So lovely song, 10 out of 10 from me. Never a skip. Plenty of good vibes in it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. It's a beautiful song. Some beautiful chords, really amazing melody, wonderful keyboard playing. This song reminds me of an Eagles song. It's just got that, I can hear the Eagles even performing this song. It just has that vibe about it. And there's so much more to say about this song. The band are really tight. The vocals are wonderful, the harmonies. Without repeating what you guys have all done, I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's one of those sort of sing-along songs. It's like you said, Andy, right at the start there, that I think I've heard this song done by other artists on, and even like instrumental versions of it in elevators, all sorts of things. Yeah, it's an amazing song. 10 out of 10 for me. It's performed really, really well. The band were really, really on fire. Amazing version of it. 10 out of 10. So,
well, once again, it falls upon me to bring some credibility to this show. So, I have to Brad score this one. I'm really concerned that Brad's not Brad scoring. I think, if Brad's not Brad scoring, we're going to change the name to be something else. We will have to do that.
Unlike Hugh, who's given it 8 million out of 10.
Yeah.
8 million. It is Hugh's birthday.
Look, I have to Brad score the song. It's etched on my mind. This song is a rite of passage for a lot of young guys growing up, because it's the song that you want to sing to the girl. It has an immediate affection and response, because it means something. It's a great song. I for me anyway. I love it because of that. You guys have mentioned all the other reasons why it's a great song. The keyboards, how that comes in. It's just wonderful, isn't it? It's just, again, it's that other contrasting key that we love. That's brought into these rock and roll albums. The fact that they did that live, Brad and Andy, is just remarkable. How they caught that, it's just fantastic, because that's just a simple instrument, that Fender Rhodes. It's just this, isn't it? So it's just mic'd, isn't it? It's not like John Lord's Hammond, which is like a beast that needs to be
Hammond is your
tamed
master,
before you
yeah.
can play it. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just and Helene in the chat will probably know a little bit too because she's a keyboard player, so she's probably got experience in playing these instruments. I just think it's remarkable. I've got a Brad score. This it's nothing. It's the standout on the album for me, guys.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, dear.
Ooh.
Well,
Oh,
Andrew,
I see trouble ahead.
I haven't Brad scored for a while, but I think the stroke did something, and I forgot about Brad scores.
It's made
So
you,
that's
it's
my
made you a lot
defense,
more
okay.
logical. Yes.
You know.
Yeah, it's
but,
even better though when we do a show when Brad's not here and we say Brad score. It's like, who is this Brad? Yeah.
Especially if you get a guest on or if you get a guest host on, they don't know who I am. They're like, "What the is going on here?"
No, trust me, people know. People know, bro.
What is a Brad score? Yes. I'm going to put it in Wikipedia. Yes, a Brad score is.
Well, if people don't know what a Brad score is, we were officious when we started doing ranking the tracks, and we were very, determined in our scores. 9.75 out of 10, and the Rock Professor was an 8.321. We were, and then Brad just. I don't know what I'm going to have to go back and watch some of the videos if I can remember. Brad might remember actually. I don't know what the song is, and Brad said I have to give it 1 million out of 10 or something like that, or 100 out of 10.
100 out. It would have been 100 out of 10.
100, and we said you can't do that, and he said yes I can. I said, okay.
Brad, yes, this is a Brad score.
Yeah. I think I remember the day specifically. I forgot what album it was, but I was so passionate about it. I was like, I'm saying it's 100 out of 10. Nothing will get in my way. No one's going to stop me.
I think it was a Deep Purple. It was a Deep Purple album.
Deep Purple.
Yeah.
So
bit of a history lesson there for you folks.
Yes, worth reminding you. Oh dear.
Where are we at, guys?
So we're onto the last song on side two.
Last song on side two,
which is "I Want to Go to the Sun," which is a long song actually, which I thought was quite. I thought it was okay actually. I thought it was a good song. I'd probably give it about I'll give it a 9 million out of 100.
9 million out of 100. Wait a minute.
I'll probably give it about a 9, but I just I liked it actually. I think with long songs, as we'll find out when we come to side 3, is generally they can either have a strength or they have a weakness. And I thought this was a pretty good song. Probably perfect placed actually as well in the concert. I mean, after the last song, I mean, everything's up there and everyone's hugging each other and that sort of thing after Baby I Love You. But yeah, I quite like this song actually. I thought it was well played. Can't find any faults. I think up until this point, you've got absolutely 100% musicianship through everyone in the band. And the album, to me, I think it's an ageless album. I'm probably going to listen to it a few times today as well. But no, I thought this was a pretty good song. I think it must. I'm assuming now. I mean, when you look at people, when you look at influences, you listen to his playing. I mean, obviously, you chaps might be out with this. He must have been influenced away by the Beatles when he's listening to his rhythm guitar playing and his lead playing. I'm not really sure because I think, to be honest, he is unique of that particular time. And you are right in what you said, Brad, because you do hear a reminiscence of the Eagles and probably the country rock sound with some of his soloing as well, as his rhythm guitar playing. But for this, I would give this one. I'll probably maybe take it back and not use the millions. I'd probably say 9 out of 10 for this one, to be honest. I won't give a Brad score, but that might be. We'll hear Brad's in a minute anyway, so that's it's over to you, Simon.
I think yes, I did. Yes, it's funny. I'll go back and listen to it with, see if I can spot the Eagles in it. But that kind of West Coast, I mean, it clearly is part of that kind of West Coast California thing for absolute, for certain. There's lots of that in it. It's again, I think this is a great song. I think this, the first two sides of this are just amazing. Really, they're beautifully, really well programmed, really well done, fantastically recorded, fantastically played. And this is no exception. I think it's a great song. I think, again, first of all, it's all about the song. And the piano, again, piano on it, so it's slightly different instrumentation. Great. I love the sort of hi-hat playing on this. The drummer as well, really good drumming. Kind of changing the drumming around to change different parts of the song. Having a kind of a faster, funkier bit in the middle and things. I think to me kind of that in vibe, because it's a 7-minute song. Clearly, that we did Humble Pie at the Fillmore. And this is again about dynamics. This is about how how a four. Let's not forget they're only a 4-piece band.
Exactly.
Bass, drums, keyboards, and I think that. That given that this is a one of those great lessons in how to do a 7-minute song with dynamics and doing a vocals and guitar doing a call and response, then you've got like a funkier bit, you've got some some guitar solos, you've got a Leslie on the sound of the guitar near the beginning, not later on, and it's got great, that kind of really fast playing solo, with those triplets that he plays, that he doesn't really play that in other parts of it. So, new part for him. I really liked it. 9 out of 10 for me, never a skip. And I think that kind of upping the dynamic coming out of the acoustic section is exactly where this song should sit, and it does exactly what it should do. Which is take it up a notch. The audience are clapping along, and clearly there's a really good interaction between them and the band, playing this song. So 9 out of 10 for me, never a skip.
Really, I think as a lead guitarist, I'll ask this question to Brad actually. As a lead guitarist, when you listen to some of his lead playing on this, I mean, what I really liked about it, compared to listening to guitarists nowadays, but I think with this and maybe like other guitarists like Steve Lukather and a lot of the modern 80s guitarists, some of the solos you could actually hum. And I think with his solos on this album, they're not in your face. They're just absolutely perfectly placed. And I think it's like listening to, sorry chaps, it's like listening to a Kylie Minogue song. So when you listen to Kylie Minogue song back in the 80s, it had that particular, it had that hook where you could hum along to, or you could whistle to. And I find that with Peter Frampton's lead playing, you could whistle it, you can hum. It's absolutely perfect.
I think that's the mark of an amazing musician. If they know what to play melodically on their instrument, which is going to capture you more than flash or pizzazz, sorry. I think that is the mark of an amazing musician, because they're putting aside ego and they're putting the song first. So for me, I mean, my notes for this song, like, if you guys know me well, I do elaborate notes on my song. I cull them depending on what the other hosts talk about. My notes on this one, I put the lead guitar. It's melodic. He really cements himself as a fantastic lead guitarist in this song. But the song, the melodies they're memorable. Like, you can remember what's actually going on. It's like, you put things in a context of another guitarist that I love, like Slash from Guns N' Roses' November Rain solo. You can hum that solo. Gary Moore from Still Got the Blues. You can hum those solos. To me, and even players like George Harrison, he used to do stuff where you could hum the solo. You can almost hum the solo to Something in the Way. It's just the guitarists that do that, in my opinion, are sometimes more favorable to me, because I got told by a very famous musician once, he play guitar to the girls in the front row don't play the guitar for guys in the back row with their arms crossed.
Yeah.
He said it in a more elaborate, disgusting way, and I'm cleaning it up for the show. But, so going back to the solos and the way Peter Frampton plays, it's he's really fantastic. I mean, I love the way the song starts. So like it's got that cool intro and the crowd interaction. Like they're clapping along. He's got the crowd interaction, and that he's sucked the crowd in by this point with a couple of acoustic songs, and now he's bringing this in. It's a great ascending melody. The vocals, it's like an ascending melody. That ascending melodies and descending melodies are very easy to remember on the palate. So whether that's intentional or not, as a songwriter, he's fantastic. His vocals are great. And again, some nice lead guitar playing. And I really, really enjoyed the solos. He really cements himself as a solo artist on this track. 10 out of 10 for me. Never a skip. Andrew.
I think the song's just about bordering on being a masterpiece. The lyrics, especially, it's one of the great things about this song. And I'm glad that you guys spoke about the music. I'm going to talk about the lyrics. You know, there's he's talking about cheating. You know, so and if you read the lyrics, is he talking about the actual act of cheating when you're in a relationship, you know, with someone else, or is he talking about cheating because he's not following his muse, what he wants to do with music? Because, you know, there's this wonderful line there called "Music is my food and life, don't take it away," you know, and we can all resonate with that, can't we? Because music is such a big part of who we are, whether or not we just play a couple of guitars and 3 chords or we listen to music. You know, it's a big part of what we are. We've all professed it as having huge influences in our life, and here's a singer-songwriter talking about it in some wonderful lyrics. You know, he's talking about seagulls and the beach and painting all these wonderful images in my mind when I hear this song. Like I say, it's bordering on a masterpiece. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I was just about going to Brad score it, but I think just about. But I think what they've done with this song, following the song that I've Brad scored, is, you know, there's a bit of a love song vibe going with the previous song, and then with this song here, this is his PhD, Simon. This is something where he's talking about he's revealing who he is. So who's he cheating? Who's you know, what's he cheating about? What's he cheating from? I don't know. Love it. The lyrics are fantastic. The guy is a genius. It's never a skip. Go and listen to this song, and it's the last song on side 2, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
Just a phenomenal, album so far. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, it's been.
I'm not even thinking. I'm not sure if do you chaps watch The Simpsons, or have you ever watched The Simpsons over the years? Because every now and again they have musicians on, don't they? And I think Pete Frampton might have been on The Simpsons.
Yeah,
he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
So guys,
what they wanted him to do was they wanted him to play a kind of, I think it was a kind of washed up rock star, wasn't it? And he said, he said, "Oh, you want me to do that?" And then he went, "Yeah, that's it." And he went, "Oh, okay, fine." So, well done him for.
Look at that.
That's Holly's quilt with the Peter Frampton T-shirt that she's making reference to. So, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that with us. Sorry to interrupt, guys, about your reminiscing of The Simpsons.
What, not? Yes,
not.
All mentions of The Simpsons will be eradicated from this pod. Oh dear. Nice one. So, Mr. Walton, are we stopping? I presume we're stopping here as
Yeah, so we'll be back next week, guys, with part 2. We're going
to.
Yeah, we'll talk about gear because you know how we like to incorporate that. So Brad's going to talk about some history on some gear, which is really, really interesting. If you guys don't know it, so be tuned to watch that because that's a wonderful story in itself. I think we're also going to be back here on the channel on Thursday, aren't we, bro? We're going to be on doing the corner bar rundown debrief.
Was it Wednesday? Wednesday?
Wednesday or Thursday? I don't know. Gosh, I don't.
I'll go.
Was it Wednesday?
I only create the cards. I don't know. Says producer Walton. Yes.
Pretty sure it's Wednesday, Andrew.
Okay. Yeah. Wednesday. Okay.
Well, we'll be sharing in our stories and whatnot. And Andrew's been all over it lately with sharing the next show. So you'll know.
Yeah. And we'll look forward to that, won't we? Because Brad's going to tell us about what happened. You know, you got to watch the show. You got to watch the show.
The gory details. The dirt.
Yeah, you've scheduled this for the 26th of the 5th, Mr. Walton. And as we are now on the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, so it'll be Thursday.
I thought we agreed Wednesday, but we'll double check. You're in front of me, so hold on a second. I'll get my other phone. You know what? I'm going to go in. You've got me curious now. Let's have a look. 26th.
Thursday evening, isn't it?
Ooh.
If I've made a mistake, I can change it.
I think it's meant to be the Wednesday, but we'll double check and we'll check.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So, if you guys subscribe and hit that notification, at least anyway, you guys will get that notification. And as Brad said, you know, when I get that right day, we will
currently,
be currently it's Thursday, but if it's Wednesday,
evening.
Okay. So we'll let you guys know because it'll be a great show. John ZD35150 will be on there. Hoss and Brad.
I've got it in writing. Wednesday.
Okay. Cool. And we'll look forward to talking about how that show went. So, have you guys checked the views on that show? Have you checked it? I saw it before. It's took a while, but I think that show.
It's got a tail.
I think
it's got 1.1 views. I think.
No, more than that.
Oh, sorry, boss.
Hold on. 1.8.
Brilliant.
And
it has. Blimey, it has 1.8.
Can we do a little bit of boasting as well that we're at 2.85k subscribers?
Yeah.
So we're getting close to 3,000.
I must admit though, I think with finding the show last year, where I think really only the last month or couple of months, the subscribers have flew up, and it was lovely to see that the fact is that people have found the channel and they watch the videos, because I think, I'll be honest with you chaps, is that for me, you've introduced me to some music I've never come across before.
I think that's why we do it.
I think that's really, really important, and what you've done as well. Excuse me, you've fueled my passion for classic rock.
Yeah,
although it was it never sort of faded, it was still there. But what you've done is you've cost me money. I went out and bought albums, which is good. It's a positive thing. It's a positive thing. Yeah.
No, we appreciate the nice words, don't we?
Yeah, Andy, that's probably a good reason why we do this. The other reason we just like talking to each other about music, but that we get along, we just talk. We would do this without viewers, but it's just great to share it with other people. And these gentlemen that I do this with every week have opened my eyes to music that I haven't really listened to either. So it's been great, and it's. Andy, thank you so much for that, because that's one of the reasons we do it, is to, and it's a big part of the show. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, the milestones, that we've done on our channel, have been significant. Getting Brad when it was the Rock Professor and I, getting Brad, took us to another level, and then obviously introducing the 5150 show to the channel too, gave us.
Yeah.
Gave the channel huge exposure. We had significant jumps in membership, didn't we, guys, when we started doing that? And then obviously with views, and then again with the Zoso show, bringing the Zoso show on again, just brought significant subscribers. So, and like I said to you guys before, everyone that subscribes to our channel, I go and subscribe back to, and you see some of the channels of these people that subscribe to us. It's like, wow, it just never ceases to amaze me. But and then clearly I have to say this, YouTube too, supporting channels with good content. And I have to say that because other people have told me that, we've got good content on our channel, and YouTube like that. So they are going to obviously, but that show that we did with Hoss and the pre-show for 4 hours, which was on fairness, an average show for us because it was completely unscripted. We got 100 subscribers from that show.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
Unreal.
It's
unreal.
So, and then everybody that's in our chat that's been sharing our channel on their social medias too, which has been, fantastic. Teresa, for example, sharing our cards in Brazil, and we've got a load of people from Brazil that have subscribed too. So, that's how, if you want to grow your channel organically, you've got to ask people to help you. You've got to ask your people in the chat to do it. And, Simon and I never used to ask, we never used to ask people to subscribe. And then, somebody mentions, hey guys, you ask people to subscribe. And when we started doing that, don't be scared to ask for a subscription.
And then I started being a sergeant major and asking everyone to subscribe.
All the time.
Yeah. Got to do it.
Yeah.
So anyone that's watching this later, if you haven't done so,
please subscribe.
Or else.
And hit the notification bell. Look at me. See, I've been watching too many other channels.
But
all.
But we do subscribe back, and we've always said that though, haven't we? Every sub we get, we subscribe back, and again too, if you want to be on our community page, just let us know. Flick Brad a message, myself, flick Andy a message, anybody that's related to the channel, just flick us a message, and that's the least we can do for you guys. And we're going to do this as well. If you want to check out some cool music, there's Brad on Instagram, so follow Brad there. If you guys want to get some EVH related gear, check out Lewis, who's been on our channel with Mikey M about a week ago, fairfieldguitars.com. Check him out. We got some great views on that show too, guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We smoked the views on that one with our channel, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that we're just doing what we do and enjoying it, and people are actually watching it. So we're extremely grateful.
Yeah, really,
absolutely.
Good. Okay, and for us in the UK, for me, I mean, maybe for Simon, a lot of people, it's a great end to a weekend for me. I watch the show on a Sunday morning. So it is a part of my routine on a Sunday morning. So thanks chaps for doing this.
That's all right.
No problem.
I think we do something unique. We do ranking the tracks in a way that nobody, and I've looked, believe you me, nobody else does what we do yet. But I think it's yes, Johnny panhandling for stuff. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, exactly. When we used to get raided by the Bean Show, the first thing I would do, we would stop whatever we were talking about and say, "While you're here, hit that subscribe button." So, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are panhandlers.
It's a great word, Johnny, as well. What a great word, panhandling.
I mean that's not a bad compliment because just at the beginning of the show you were calling Brad and Simon ratbags, so they've actually went up from ratbags to panhandlers.
Well, that's right.
I
And
like
then-
the Andy. I like the
Hey,
Yes.
Hang around to when we go off air, and I'll tell you what I really think about them.
Andy, he tells us all the time, don't worry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So yeah, panhandlers. Yeah. So that's the best advice too that we can do to anybody that wants to start their channel. Ask for subs. Do it. You got to do it. You got to do it.
100%.
Fantastic. So
we're out of here.
next
We're going to be
week,
back next
part
week
two.
with part 2. And I'll fix that date up for the corner bar debrief. We're looking forward to that. That'll be cool. Brad's going to be taking us to all the dark places.
There's a bit of dirt. You know, we've
Or
got
is
to
it just
get on with
sawdust?
some dirt as well. You can't just give all the nice fluffy stuff on top. We've got to get into the dirt, you know.
People like dirt.
If you guys want to know the real dirt, though, become a channel member, and we'll get Brad, and we'll do a channel members only stream for you guys, and then that'll be the full version if you guys become channel members.
Andrew, I draw the line though at an OnlyFans account. I won't do that. I've got my own already. All right.
I was gonna say, frankly, you were our only hope in that area.
I don't know.
I think there's room for everyone on the internet. Don't worry.
Family show. It's been wonderful catching up with you, Brad, brother. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good
to see you.
Thank you for hanging out with us. And you know, during your recuperation, because everybody obviously has been talking about it, and it's really good. You know, it was nice that Nerd Halen said some nice things to you too. Good to have Ellen in here. I know the Rock Professor's going to go through and say goodbye to you guys, but we'll be back with Andy next week for part 2.
Big part 2.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, and I'd say thanks to everyone for joining. Let's scroll back up to someone else. We had Robert Ranford, Teresa, Johnny Heartbreaker, of course, Helen Winter, Helena Horror. Thanks, guys, for joining. Holly Lewis, of course. Good luck with the lottery numbers, Holly. I've sent them to you. So send me a tenner when you win. G Bushnoff, thanks, G. Jazz Thunder 50, Jim. Thanks, Jim. Good to see you. Arvin, of course. Arvin, thanks, Arvin. And Nelson Rodriguez, of course. Nelson, the mighty Mitch Heyman. Good to see you, Mitch. Hope you're good. Steve-O12 Schneider as well. Thanks, Steve-O, for dropping by and having a look. Johnny Bean and Hugh Caldwell. Yeah. Ellen, of course. Ellen, thanks, Helen. Good to see you back. Well, hope you're good. Crappy Luxury as well. Thanks, Crappy, for dropping by. Good to see you. Paulie Walnuts. Amazing names, don't they?
Yeah.
What else have we got? I got everybody. Janice, of course. Janice Lala. Thanks, Janice, for dropping by. Good to see you too. Helen Winter. Sorry, guys. It gets to be a long chat. People say lots of cool things. So hopefully I got everybody. So thanks to you all for joining. Great to see you. Hope we'll see you next week for sides 3 and 4. Take care. Have a good week, and we'll see you then.
Thank you. Bye. Everybody take care.
Bye.
Bye.
We have to do this for a while, Andy, while he finds the button.
No, you guys, just keep your hands up there. I just want you to show some gratitude to everybody in the chat by waving. All right. See. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. All right. He's got a sore arm. All right.
Bye.
Bye.